helps with it not being so like ego-filled, like, you know, I'm going to make this person better and I'm going to use my skills. And so I found that actually my massage practice has grown, and I feel like my work has, you know, improved and been really appreciated at the same time as I was actually taking my mind out, like Brian was talking about so beautifully today, taking my mind out of the moment as I'm creating the massage and just allowing sort of the massage to happen. And then, of course, I've been meditating at home, which is where you're supposed to meditate. My lama's here, so. And we've been given some amazing emptiness meditations through the Bokjimpa courses from Lama Lauren and through the ACI courses. And one thing that I noticed is when I'm sitting there and I'm meditating about emptiness and I'm thinking about how two things can't possibly touch, and all my senses are shut down. So I can get to this point where I can get my mind to agree, yeah, that's right, it's all an illusion, it's a projection forced upon me by my karma. And then the timer that doesn't just ring once, that rings many times unless you hit it, goes off. And I go, you know, whack, and I hit the timer, and it's like it's all just happening out there. And so I found when I was thinking about emptiness, as I was actually massaging people, it was really testing the limits of my understanding. Because when you're putting your hand on a friend who's in need or on a client and you're feeling their warmth, you're feeling the texture of their skin, you're feeling the problem areas, it's very easy to fall back into that idea that it's all happening out there, that you're in control of the moment in the moment, that, you know, you are one person and this is a separate person that has come to you with a problem that has nothing to do with you. All the things that we work on softening, all those ideas that we work on escaping from in our Dharma practice. And so often when we go to work, no matter what our job is, you know, reality as we assume it to be really reasserts itself very strongly. So first I wanted to talk for a minute about touch, because touch is so important to us emotionally and culturally. And I think it's an expression of what Lama Marut talked about last night, about that desire to feel connected to people. So much of our suffering comes from feeling separate, from feeling isolated. And we find so much comfort in, you know, hugging a friend, or in having, you know, a partner, or in, you know, playing with children. If we don't understand how that touch is happening, though, we're kind of just at the mercy of past karma for whether, you know, someone touches us in a violent way, or whether someone comes to us with love, or whether I grab my teacup and it's really hot and I burn my hand. Like, we can be in control over that process if we understand how it's happening. And it's a way to start removing some of those moments of suffering, like when we reach out for someone and they, you know, back away. So, you know, as we were talking about last night, there's reasons why we talk about emptiness. It's not just an intellectual exercise. You know, we're trying to make our world better. We're trying to fix the things that hurt us. And I think that looking at touch is a really beautiful way to do this. We can create the causes, if we know how, to have the interactions that we want, to have each touch, each relationship, have the potential of being something really beautiful. So, what do we think about touch? Now, I know a lot of you in the room are pretty good Dharma practitioners, so, you know, we're not scientists anymore, right? But we grew up with this. We have Western science at our back from elementary school. Some of us are still working in professions like massage, where we talk about, you know, sciencey stuff a lot. And science says, on one hand, so to speak, that touch is happening. There are at least 11 distinct senses that are involved in touch. There are millions of sensory end organs in the skin. There are roughly 4 categories in the strictly tactile sense of touch, which range from light touch to deep pressure to pain. So our science tells us that we have things in our bodies that are receptors to touch, and this is how we experience the world. And science also says that touch is important. They did studies on premature babies that the babies that were touched every day gained weight 50% faster, were released from the hospital 6 days sooner, and this is just from having a light massage every day. And they even did studies about, like they sort of set up these situations in banks and in libraries where the librarian accidentally brushed the hand of the person that she was helping, or the bank teller like managed to find some way to have like a moment of physical contact during the interaction. And then later they just surveyed, but they didn't tell the people that this was an experiment about touch. Later they surveyed the people and they reported more satisfaction with the customer service in those same cases. So even if we think we're coming from this culture where like, I don't want the bank teller touching me, like that's kind of weird, there's some deep level desire that we want to be touched and we feel like someone's helping us more if they're touching us. We feel connected to them. We're more likely to give them a positive rating on the customer service survey, you know what I mean? So I think it's something that's working for us, right? It's functioning. But science also says touch is not happening. Absolutely not at all. No atoms of any one object can ever touch the atoms of another. So that sounds pretty definitive, and I read it on this physics sites and physics blogs and everything on the internet where everyone's discussing this and its implications. But basically, you know, according to science, every atom in my body has negatively charged ions on the outside, and when I reach for something, it repels the negatively charged ions on the outside of the atoms of the cup. But the forces allow me to do things like pick it up. But what I'm feeling is actually my own electrons being pushed back, pushing the atoms, hitting my own sense receptors, giving those signals of heat or pain or nerve impulse to myself. So in a way, all I'm doing is touching myself. I mean, you can get very like nihilistic about that. Like you're like, oh my God, everything's just my own electrons, you know? And that's one way to fall off the cliff of emptiness, right? It's mind only, you know? It's the electron only school, a little known school in Tibetan Buddhism. So, and they say that everything is held apart 10 nanometers from each other. So I'm actually levitating right now. That's why you can trust what I say. And so if we're just feeling the rearrangement of our own electrons, and yet touch is it's so real, it's so powerful, something's going on here, you know? As Lama Marut says, something's fishy. And so I want to turn to Buddhist philosophy to try to reconcile those two viewpoints. As Buddhism says about so many things, touch is happening, but it's not happening the way that we think it is. So we're going to do a little meditation exploring this. So this is why this is the first time to find your spaces and lie down. Oh, but first, ask your partner 3 questions. Do you have any injuries or areas that I need to avoid? Do you have any particular spots that you want me to work on? And what level of pressure do you like? Just so that we don't have to have a lot of interchange or talking during the massage. But of course, if anything hurts, no matter if I'm talking or not, tell the person and they can move to a different area or stop. Darren and Douglas are going to be, as very good massage therapists that they are going, he's got the elbows of steel. They're going to be just walking around. If you're in like a nice state with what you're doing, you can just keep your head down and focus. If you think you need some help or you're not really sure, you know, where to move your hands, just sort of lift your head and catch their eye and they can come over and help you. So do your thing. You can roll that up and use it as a pillow as well. Yeah. But just yeah, I'll wait just 1 minute. Okay, so when you've had that conversation, whoever's going to go first is just going to lie on your stomach, and you can put your head to the side. If you want to make a little pillow with your hand, that's fine. If you have like an overshirt that you want to sort of loosen so they can get at your shoulders a little, or if you have like a necklace you want to take off, just make those adjustments. And the other person, just kneel on one side of them, wherever you have the space. And just a little sort of disclaimer. We're going to be, as they do in Tibetan Heart Yoga Series 2, we're going to be touching on a number of different sort of flavors of emptiness or proofs of emptiness. But if something doesn't suit you, if you're skeptical, just put it on the shelf. Just, open yourself up to the possibility that that might be a way of looking at the world, and then go on. Maybe the next one will be one that you really go, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time really explaining each of them, but I'm just going to give you a little something to think about. So start by placing one or both hands on the person's back. Make contact. Relax your hands. Relax your own body. And I want both of you to just begin to breathe. For those massaging, make sure you're in a comfortable position. In a lot of this massage, I'm going to be addressing the one who's massaging, but of course, the person who's lying down can visualize the same things. So feel their warmth. Feel how real they are. Feel how the movement of their breath causes your hands to rise and fall. For those lying down, feel the substantial weight of their hands on your back. And now, try to find the exact point where you are touching them. Maybe pick one finger and zoom in. Find the exact spot where that contact that you feel is happening. Maybe you have to zoom in one more time. Maybe once you zoomed in, you realized that there was still a little bit of space there. There was still one edge that was your finger and another edge that was their shirt. So zoom in a little further. See if you can find a point of true contact. And think about if you have found a point that you consider to be true contact. How could your hand still be your hand and their shirt still be their shirt? Have you merged completely into them? This beautiful illusion that we call touch involves us having to hold the two ideas. One, I have a hand and they have a shirt. And two, my hand is touching their shirt. Can those both really be true at the same time? There has to be some sort of edge that is you, an edge that is them. Two things truly touching would be one thing. Lift your hands away. See that this is not the case. And yet touch happened. Put one hand on their upper back, and with the other palm begin to stroke slowly down the spine, from the upper back down to the sacrum. This kind of touch so common that we give when we're trying to comfort someone. It functions for us. But now, find the massage. Where is the exact moment that the massage occurs? Freeze. Is it right there? No, you just have your hand on their back. Okay, keep going. Stop. Is that the massage? When your hand is there? They'd ask for their money back if that's all you're going to do. Go ahead and move your hand again. Think about how it's the moments of touch put together by the mind that create the massage. Feel how you're moving through space and time and creating what you call this activity. Your mind has to put together individual moments of contact, individual moments of warmth, to create this activity that we benefit from and that we often think is happening out there, separate from our mind putting the parts together the way that it does. So you must have some input in this process if you can't find it outside of your mind. Take both of your hands together and place it on the side of their back that's closest to you, and gently start rocking their spine, giving them little pushes, moving down the back, up the back, feeling them surrender and become flexible. Each of these instances of touch could be interpreted very differently. Are you hitting them? Are you pushing them away? The way that we push away someone we love who tries to give us a hug when we're mad at them. We take our hands and we just give them a shove. Is that what's happening here? Your mind and the mind of the person receiving the massage individually have agreed to put these touches together as something comforting. You're not pushing the person away. You're not slapping them. These same motions, they don't have those qualities in them from their own side. The beautiful karma you've created allows you to see this as something positive. Try to feel that for a minute. Try to feel what it would feel like if it was different. Ask the person, how's my pressure? Am I hitting the right spots? Doing okay? You all are very kind, but sometimes their idea of a good massage is different from yours. Obviously, we've all created really excellent karma here, that we're all experiencing this as blissful. However, when I go into my spa job and the people say, oh, everything's fine, just a Swedish massage. If I try to give that same massage to Darren, oh boy. He says, come on, give it loads. And the exact same massage, where I'm thinking, yeah, this is just as much pressure as my little thumb can handle, might cause Darren to say, okay, that's good. Can you lean into it just a little bit more? So the qualities of the massage, likability, dislikability, full of caring, full of aggression, as some forms of touch can be, hard or soft. This is all relative to the karma that we're bringing to the situation. It's different for all of us. So there has to be something that's coming from us. It's not inherent in the touch and the level of pressure. More on that later. So as some of you have done, move your hands to one of their shoulders and see if you can find a knot. Something kind of hard, something a little ropey. Darren found one. something that has certain qualities that you see in it right now. Maybe some resistance. And just put both of your hands on it and just try to work it out for a little bit. Try to transform it. If you need any help and technique, Darren can share. Is anything changing for you there? Try it a little longer. And come to that area again and just touch it to see if anything has changed. Is it a little warmer? Is the shoulder blade moving a little more easily? Is the skin a little bit pinker? This is just a gross indication of how we're all changing 3 trillion times a second. Is this the exact same person that you started to massage 5 minutes ago? Are we ever the exact same person that enters into a relationship? Or are we constantly changing and transforming in each moment that we come into this interdependence with the people and things around us? In fact, you're changing 3 trillion times a second too. So how is it possible that a hand that's changing 3 trillion times a second, touching, but not actually touching, a shoulder that's changing 3 trillion times a second, can make a knot go away? What are the real forces at work here? Science tells us a lot about the hows, but what about the whys? Because it doesn't always work. Maybe some of you have found that right now. Maybe you're working on an area, maybe it hasn't changed at all. So what's in control of that change? What's moving those processes? What's the why behind the how? Is it you, massager? No, I'm sure you guys all feel compassionate enough for the person that you're working on that if you could just wish they're not away, you would. It would save your fingers some work as well. But can you do that in this present moment? As a helper, as someone in service of others, can you force them to be helped by you? Sometimes we try very hard to help someone, and we don't see the effects in that moment. Now moving to the other shoulder, or moving from the shoulder to the neck if you've been working on both sides. And while you all enjoy this, I ask the person who is receiving the massage, is it you? Are you the one who's in control of this body? If you were, you'd never have a knot. You'd never need a massage. If you were in control of your mind, you'd never need to run to a friend for a hug to be comforted. Something else is happening. Move up to the base of their skull where the neck meets the head. Massage in that nice area for a little bit. In the present moment, we're not in control over the sense data coming from the situations that we find ourselves in. When someone presses a sensitive point on us, try putting your thumb at the top of their neck and pressing up and in towards the skull. Illustrate my point. If that gives us pain, we can't change that it gives us pain, but we can change our conception of it. We can take a deep breath. We can think, well, this is going to feel better later. Or we can think, yeah, now I'm really getting my money's worth. Or we can think, this crazy person doesn't know what they're doing, they're going to break my neck. I'd better tense up and block them so that nothing bad happens. And then we add anguish and pain and suffering to our physical pain. We add this mental pain. That's something that we can work with in each moment. That's a little bit of choice that we can find ourselves having. And now as a final stroke, just bring your fingers to either side of their temple or to the back of their scalp. Stick your fingers on like glue and then start moving your hands. So you're giving them a nice scalp massage. And then taking your palms and just giving them a couple of strokes down the back, just to wake them up a little bit. Yeah, nice, Marianne. Little energy strokes. And then, please thank them and ask them to get up. Do I have to get up? Yes, because you have to massage Mira in about 5 minutes. So. Wow, this is a better teaching technique than giving people cookies. Everyone. Yeah, I really liked that class. I don't know what she was talking about, but the massage was really good. Oh. Yeah, and there's cookies too. So, if we're constantly changing, what's in control of the change? If the experience of touch is created over time by our mind, what is in control of that? A very important question if we want to change any of the situations in our life. In Buddhism, we say there has to be a cause for everything, and it has to be similar and come before. So, spinning that out, the cause for getting a good massage is to help someone with their health, or perhaps it's to avoid hurting other people's bodies, or maybe it's to relieve someone's stress by, helping them with a project. Depends on what you're looking for. What is your intention that you go to the massage with? And it's the same thing with every moment of touch and relationship. If you want your partner to be physically affectionate and cuddly, and you have to find ways to give loving touch to other people in ways that are good for them. So obviously we can't go and grab everybody all the time, but we have to create a similar experience for other people as the one that we want. So, that may not even be through touch. You may find a way of cooking for someone that gives them relaxation and pleasure, that then if you're more of a touchy-feely person, comes to you in the form of, someone saying, hey, you want a shoulder rub? Or, it happens. So the cause for a bad massage, right? Stressing other people out, hurting other people's bodies, depending on your beliefs, maybe hurting animals, like eating them. Or if you're like Darren and you like a really hard massage, maybe, and you're not getting one, maybe you're just being really ineffective when someone gives you a task. Just think about Well, he should be getting really good hard massages because he gives really good hard massages, whether people want them or not. So remember that massage, that touch is a relationship. And everything in our life is a relationship. It's the subject, us, and the object, the things and people in our world coming together. And we call these the three spheres, like Brian was talking about in his previous workshop. So just as an illustration to understand the three spheres, look around the room and tell me where are all the massages that we just did? What? We all just did massages, right? Where's the massage? And how about the massagees? People who receive the massages, raise your hand. Massagees, are you a massagee? You're not getting a massage right now. Oh. Do you exist as a massage? Yeah, gotcha! That's the gotcha. All these things happen in relationships. So this experience that we call touch is created when the subject and object come together. The experience that we call massage is created, it arises when the two people come together in this agreement of what's happening and what kind of touch this is going to be. But at the same time, each element of that doesn't exist as that without the other two. So in the same way, the massager and the massagee don't have that roles anymore because they're not creating that activity, and you're just about to switch anyways. So in a minute, Terry, you're going to be the massager, and then you really wouldn't be able to raise your hands. So we're constantly switching these roles, and we're constantly creating these relationships, even if just for a moment. I'm the person holding the cup, I am not the person holding the cup. And that's can be extrapolated into the bigger ways that we define ourselves. Am I a helping person, or am I an apathetic person, or am I a person that's just too stressed and busy to really be bothered with other people right now? When we change our idea of who we are, we change the relationship, and we change who we see the other person as. And when we start seeing the other person as someone different, maybe someone a little bit more special, we change what the activity is, and we change how we think of ourselves. And really, karma is how we think of ourselves. It's It's from the past, it's from, the recent past, the far away past, but it all comes together in this idea of who I am and what I deserve. So if you see yourself, even if you see yourself helping someone, but the whole time you're going, you are seeing yourself as a person. Other people may see you as someone who's, really nice and giving someone a shoulder rub, but to your own self, what kind of impression are you making? So trying to use this interdependence to create, we only have so much time, we have to use every moment. We have to use every relationship to practice. And so if we can, not do a good deed resentfully, if we cannot waste our time with an activity by thinking it's ordinary and meaningless, if we cannot pick up a cup without trying to think about emptiness, we're always moving our practice forward. So we're going to experiment with that a little bit. Let's go ahead right into the next massage. So I'm going to have you guys ask the same 3 questions. Any injuries? Any particular spots you want me to work on? And what level of pressure? So go ahead and just put your hands on the other person for a moment, just to establish contact, just to let them know that you're there, what the quality of your touch is like. Begin to breathe. What we're going to think about here is when you're giving a massage, you can work with the way that you view the situation and the way that you view the other person as a way to make the experience sweeter in the moment and to plant better seeds for the future. So say a friend comes and asks you for a shoulder rub when you're tired yourself, maybe you have a headache. You can't make the physical experience of your world at that moment more blissful in the moment, like you can't wish that your headache would go away so that you could give them a better massage. But you can try to make the most of the time of what you're doing and plant better seeds for the future, maybe seeds that will even result in, fewer headaches in the future. So when you change the way to see the other person, it changes your idea of yourself, changes the activity that's going on there, because they're all interdependent. So take your hands off their back for a moment. And I just want to reaffirm that while we're going through these 3 different roles, each of us is responsible for our own experience. So the person who's lying there could be experiencing the entire massage as uniformly blissful, whether or not you as the massager are having, mental afflictions in your mind, or whether you're having, great happiness. For myself, sometimes, if I'm uncontrollably replaying an argument in my head that keeps coming up while I'm massaging someone, sometimes I get feedback like, oh, your pressure was so great today. They have the karma from their side to see a positive experience. I have the karma to see myself being run by a mental affliction. So I think we need to loosen this idea of, oh, they're picking up bad vibes from me, or, oh, I'm going to pick up the bad energy from this person. We're all responsible for our own experience. So whatever we go through now, people who are getting the massage, just enjoy your massage. So role number 1, you're tired and you have a headache. This person comes up to you and says, oh, can you work on my shoulders just a few minutes? I feel kind of tense. You decide, yes, I'm going to do it. But you think about your own headache while you're doing it. You think about how you're the one who really needs the massage, how you can't wait for this to be over, and how this person is always so needy. What about me? I know you guys are Dharma practitioners. This is going to be hard, but just try, just for a minute. And just give them the exact kind of massage maybe that they were giving you. As you do this and as you have these thoughts, check in with your own body. Are you relaxed? Check in with your breath. Are you breathing nice and full and calmly, or are you holding something back? Which way is the energy flow going? You feel like they're sucking it out of you? Even though you're massaging them, what kind of seeds are you planting? Wouldn't it be better to say no to the massage rather than plant the seeds that you're the kind of person who gives, but gives with resentfulness? Gives while holding back. What kind of helping or healing does this set you up to receive in the future? Now take your hands away. Take a deep breath. Breathe all that out. Roll 2. Your friend comes to you and asks for a shoulder rub when you have a headache and you're tired. But you're a bodhisattva. You feel compassion for them. You feel like you should put your own needs aside to help this suffering being. Maybe you want to do some lojong, make yourself the lowest and make them the highest, or maybe you want to do some tonglen, pulling in and destroying their sufferings with your breath while you work. Go ahead and start massaging them again with this feeling that they're a suffering being and you're a bodhisattva, and out of your compassion, you're going to try to help them. How's your heart? Is it a little more open? Scan your body for tension. See if you're still holding tension anywhere. How are your shoulders, your arms, your face? Do you feel energized by this bodhisattva motivation? Do you feel a little drained for trying to help someone who may or may not appear to be helped? Are you looking for any kind of result or any kind of reward? Maybe they'll get up and thank you. Oh, my suffering is so much better. Thank you, Bodhisattva. Maybe not, but it's always good to check in. Which direction do you see the energy going in? Do you feel like from your heart you're pouring out love through your arms? Compassion? Putting your energy into them to try to fill them up so they feel better? Give them a few nice strokes down the back, and then take your hands off for another moment. Take a deep breath in and breathe all of that out as well. You're tired. You have a headache. A friend comes to you and says, "Can you just work on my shoulders just for a couple of minutes? I feel kind of tense today." And this time you see them as your teacher. You see them as a totally holy being. You feel immense gratitude at the gift they are giving you, the chance to appear to help them so that you can create the karma for your own headache to go away, so that you can see yourself as a kind and loving person, so that you can have this experience of healing energy flow through you when normally you would just be running around checking email. And instead, they're inviting you to have this experience with them. We can only see ourselves as a kind person, a helpful person, or a grateful person unless someone pretends to need our help. So go ahead and rest your hands on them and continue to massage them with these roles in mind. Like massaging your holy teacher. Really try to see them as someone special for you. How's your heart? How is your breathing? Scan your body for tension. How is your energy level? How can you feel depleted by massaging someone who's given you everything? What's the subtle image of the flow, the direction of flow of energy looking like now? Gratitude is based on recognizing the kindness of the other person. So even if you were still seeing yourself pouring energy and love out onto them through your hands, it's based on an exchange, an idea that they've done the same to you in the past. At least it's an exchange. Or maybe you even feel the flow is coming off them onto you, like when you're in the presence of your Lama and they're just glowing all over you. Move up to their head, sticking your fingers to their scalp and making little circles. Have you been able to transform this same activity from something stressful to something compassion-filled, to something that is an offering? It's not even a gift. They don't need it. It's for you. Give them a few strokes down their back with the palms, clearing and smoothing out all that nice energy. And now you can thank them and ask them when they're ready to sit up. And so, in conclusion, things are empty, but they function. We need to seize control of what's going on because it's not happening out there. We have control over our world. We have a certain amount of control in the present of trying to put our mind in a beautiful place. And in every present moment, we have control over what's going to come to us in the future. As Lama Marud and Lama Cindy were entreating us last night, we have to take full responsibility for our world. It's not just happening to us. There aren't just things out there that we bump into. Since every moment is a moment of relationship with the people and the physical objects around us, we have to be very aware of what we bring to each of those moments of relationship. Make it an offering. Make it a beautiful, divine play, and create the causes to be happier in the future, to have beautiful, comforting touch and see people loving each other. That's all we want. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
We can take a break, but if anyone has any questions, you can either ask them now or you can come up to me during break, but I don't want to keep everyone away from our snacks. Or if you have any remaining kinks that didn't get worked out. Yeah, well, I'll send Darren. Okay.
That's like a perfect mid-afternoon.
It was your idea.
It was?
Yeah.
That was a good idea.
Mira said, I think the dancing and theater people will want massage. Can you do something? I said, all right.
I think we should do a whole workshop.
There's more stuff. There's stuff like, because Darren